शेयर कर दो सर पे मैंने।
मैंने व्हाट्सएप पे लिस्ट डाली है।
हाँ।
नई फैकल्टी का वही उनके सामने।
ओके।
और उनका पासवर्ड है PRPCEM@123। नवी फैकल्टी
@123
हो गया, लाइव हो गया ना?
हो गया ना?
जूम पे जाइए।
वो सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं सर, उसका वो भी
नवी फैकल्टी
Hello. Hello. Samriddhi ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Is my
ma'am.
voice clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, worker sir. Hello.
Good afternoon,
Hello. Sir, shall we start, sir?
madam. Madam, my voice is there, ma'am.
Yes, yes, you are clear, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, we'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll start with the session.
Okay. Okay. अटेंडन्स घेतली का? सर नाम अच्छा एका पेजला अटेंडन्स व्हायची होती. ठीक आहे, राहू द्या.
A very good afternoon to all, respected dignitaries, invited guests, and faculty members, research scholars. It's my immense pleasure to heartily welcome everyone on behalf of Research and Development Cell of PR Pote Patil College of Engineering and Management, Amravati. I, Professor Kritika Chhajed, welcome you all for the second day of ISTE approved 1 week online FDP on research methodology and use of ICT tools organized from 20th February 2023 to 25th February 2023. First and foremost, I welcome Honorable Shri Praveen Kumarji Pote, President, and Honorable Mr. Shreyas Kumarji Pote, Vice President of PR Pote Patil Education and Welfare Trust Group of Educational Institutions, Amravati. I also warmly welcome Honorable Dr. D.T. Ingole Sir, Principal, and Honorable Dr. Mohabbat Zuhair Sir, Vice Principal of PR Pote Patil Education and Welfare Trust Group of Educational Institution, Amravati College of Engineering and Management. I extend my warm welcome and gratitude towards our today's keynote speaker, Honorable Dr. S.B. Workad Sir, Head IQAC, PR Pote Patil College of Engineering and Management, Amravati. I also extend my warm welcome to all our valuable and distinguished guests, academicians, researchers, experts, and all the respected Dean, HOD of various departments and faculty members for this FDP, and also thank them for giving huge response to this FDP. Today, we have with us the renowned and very talented guest, the Honorable Dr. S.B. Workad Sir. Sir is currently working as a professor in Electrical Engineering Department and head of IQAC in PR Pote Patil College of Engineering and Management, Amravati. He has obtained his PhD from Vishwesvaraya National Institute of Technology in 2011. He has more than 3 years of industrial and 24 years of academic experience. His research interests include electricity sector restructuring, electricity transmission pricing, power system optimization, operation and analysis, application of artificial intelligence in electrical power system, accreditation and outcome-based education. He is a member of IEEE, ISTE, IEIACI, CSIT Singapore, AENG Society of Artificial Intelligence and Society of Electrical Engineering Hong Kong, senior member of the Institute of Advanced Engineering and Science Malaysia, and member Engineering and Scientific Research of Innovation Association Group. He has organized more than 15 workshops and seminars, STTP and FDP on core subjects and he got funds from Festival Lab for skill development of SCS students. He has participated in the area of engineering, energy, power, published 3 copyrights, published 2 books, 52 research papers in renowned national and international journals, 4 papers in international and national conferences. 2 PhD scholars awarded under him and presently guiding 2 more PhD scholars in the area of power system and electric vehicle. He has guided more than 15 MEM Tech research projects in area of electric power system. He received Union Ministry of Energy Government of India Department Power Prize by the Institution Engineers in 2011. He got recognition as editor reviewer of more than 100 international journal and conference. So, without ready to and get knowledge from such a versatile person for this training. I welcome and request to such a dynamic personality to share his knowledge today on defining problem statement in research. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I am sharing my PPT here. Ma'am, this PPT is visible to all.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you, ma'am, for nice introduction. I welcome you all in this 1 week ISTE sponsored online FDP on research methodology and use of ICT tools organized by R&D cell, PR Kote Patil College of Engineering and Management. Today's topic is a very say like a dynamic topic, what we call, because that is the first step where our research begins, that is defining problem statement in research. We are all aware that many of you, we already been pursued our PhDs, or some are pursuing their PhDs, and whenever we are defining our research, it basically starts with the statements. What statement, or what is my title actually? What is my research title? So that I can further align my all other say like tools related with that particular statements. Finally, we are validating through results, testings as well as the results, whether the statement, what are the objectives that we are fulfilled for that statement, whether all these objectives get fulfilled or not. So this is one of the topic of the research, and it's a very what we call it is the heart of the research, and it is very essential for us to understand in what way we can formulate a problem statement for our research. So content of today's discussion is about we are going to define the problems. Several authors suggested the problems, how they defined it. Then we'll also going to discuss about the importance of identifying and formulating a research problems. Then we will study what is the research problem actually. Then what are the different sources of research problem we have. Then how we are going to select a research problem. What are the characteristics of a research problem? What are the criteria for selecting a research problem? How we evaluate a research problem? What is the necessity of defining a research problem? What are the techniques involved in defining a problem? And finally, the problem statement. One or two examples we will consider here, how they formulated the problem statement for the research. So as definition of problem is concerned, many renowned authors, they define the problem, just like few of the authors. I just put their statement here that representing the problems, say like the John Jeffrey defined problem is an obstacle in the path of satisfying our needs. Similarly, John Thorson also described problem is a question which is to be solved. Unless and until there is a problem where we can got the solutions for it. Then Whitney also defined the problem. It means to put a fence around it, to separate it by careful distinction from like questions found in related situation of needs. Similarly, Townsend also defined problem is a question proposed for a solution. Generally speaking, problem exists when there is no answer available to the same question. Likewise, the Kurlinger also defined a problem is an interrogative sentence or statement that asks what relation exists between two or more variables. Likewise, in the research in the scientific research also, we are trying to build up a relationship between the two and more variables. That's why we call as a scientific research. Likewise, Monroe also defined the problem means to specify it in detail and with accurately each question and subordinate questions to be answered is to be specified. The limit of investigation must be determined. Frequently, it is necessary to review previous studies. in order to determine just what is to be done. Sometimes it is necessary to formulate the point of view or educational theory or on which the investigation is to be based. If certain assumptions are made, they must be explicitly noted. So these are all the renowned definitions related with the problem that given by the renowned authors here. And now we are going to relate this problem related to the research. So what is the importance of identifying and formulating a research problem? So there are different advantages as well as the importance of it, like it helps to understand in a better way. A research problems helps you to understand the research methodology in a better way. We have a several components of research methodologies. Okay, so a research problem will give you the direction or give you the way in which way our research methodology should be. It includes like research design. It includes like your data collection aspects. It includes like your computational aspects in order to get the results. It includes result conclusion and etc. like that. So that way it will a research problem always help you to understand your research methodology in a better manner. It also helps to reach the objective of the study. In actually the ultimate purpose of the research problem for identification is to determine the research objectives and what is the intention of the research in the field. So based on the problem which we have formulated, that by doing some literature review, we usually formulate or enlisted 2 or 3 research objectives like that. Okay? So these basically research objectives, these are been derived from your problem formulations. Then it also helps to know about the time, energy, and money needed to conduct a research. So that makes your research somewhat novel. So basically the research problem identified should be original and it should be unique. A useful review of the literature can help you to determine whether the issue has already been addressed in research with your sample. So that validation we can note, we can get it only when we try to identify and formulate the research problem. It also helps to find significant work. That means your research problem should have an incredibly positive impact on the field where the study was conducted. It can be like practical in the direct form of application in the result of research, where your work advances in the field by filling a knowledge gap. It also takes the research to fetch current work. That means the process will be helpful to have current trend knowledge in the particular field. So overall, if you can conclude from this perspective, the research problem found to be a heart of the study. It drives the research questions and it also provides the framework for understanding the research findings. Now next is what is what is your research problem? So defining your research problem basically is the fuel which drives the scientific process and is the formulation of any research method and experimental design from true experiment to case studies. So we define here what is research problem. It is a situation or circumstance which requires a solution which is to be described, which need to be explained, or which need to be predicted. Or more simply, we can define a research problem as a statement that identifies the problem or situation which need to be studied. So there are several components of this particular research problems, and these components of the research problem can be categorized like it may be within the individual or a group which they are facing some kind of difficulty like the problems. There must be some research objectives which need to be attended. There must be some solutions, alternative solutions, which need to be obtained in order to satisfy the objectives which we have drawn from the problem statements. or there must be some doubt in the minds of researchers about the selection of alternatives. This means that the researcher must answer the questions concerning the relative efficiency of possible alternatives. So whenever we identified the problems, there are several alternative solutions for that problems. So here the need from the researcher side is to find out the most cost-effective solution for the particular problem, and that will be a unique solution for the research study. Or sometimes there must be some environments to which the difficulty pertains also. So we have a different environments where we actually carrying out our research. Or sometimes the research can be related to certain environments. Okay, the environments which basically fits to resolve your particular problems. So that way we can define the component of a research problem. Now, what are the different sources of research problems? So usually the new researchers, whenever he or she want to start a research, the first question that arises, what is my research problems? And there he actually go for the several sources also, through which he try to find out the exact research problem for their study. So there are different sources, like first source will be the theory deduction. Basically, theories are the ideas about how things relate to each other. So we have a different theories. We try to relate these particular theories through which we can get some ideas, and that ideas get converted into a research problems. Similarly, there are several funding agencies are available, those who are actually offering the fundings to several researchers, and they have a clear-cut information what exactly they want in the research. Likewise, like mostly like the organizations and universities, they usually going to provide the funds to researchers to do research on a specific research problems. There also you can get the research problems. Also, another source is the past research and literature review. Usually at the end of research, further research problems usually been suggested by the authors. Likewise, if we are referring any, say, like thesis of any researcher, at the end, that means what is the forthcoming research, or what is the scope of work, scope of improvement already been suggested by the authors. So that is also one of the source for it, through which you can get the direction of research and where you can able to formulate your problems. Then personal experience also act as one of the source, and it may be formulated, a research problem usually may be formulated from challenges and problems experienced. It is usually been formulated based on what is your personal sources you have, or what is your personal ideas in your mind where you can focus your research study. Practical experience is also one of the source, and here in the practical experience, research problems may be formulated from challenges and problems experienced during day-to-day work. Casual observations by a researcher sometimes is also act as one of the source. That means what is going on in our life and environment may going to trigger our desire to know more, and to have a concrete knowledge of what is going on. It can lead to the formulation of the hypothesis and conducting a systematic research for it. Similarly, current social and economic issues also act as one of the source for problem formulation. What is the social aspects, what are the social problems are there, what are the economic conditions are there, what are the factors or dimensions of these particular issues, that also act as some of the sources for your research problem. Likewise, also another source like the replication of the previous studies. And this occurs when basically the studies made in other fields or areas which are conducted in different fields and other areas. That means if someone has already been done that work in a particular areas, so you can correlate similar work by taking some other dimensions in your field. So that way you can also use this as one of the source for problem formulation. Then selecting a research problem. So selection of research problem mainly depends on several factors, and those factors you are well aware, like your knowledge, researcher's knowledge. Researcher, they have enough knowledge about that particular area or domain, what skill you have, then whether you really interested to carry out such kind of work, what kind of expertise you build up in that particular domain, do you have really motivated to do research, and what sort of creativity you can bring out while doing that particular research. So all these are the factors, are most important factors of the researchers, where he can able to select a research problem. Now, the research problems undertaken for the study must be very carefully selected. Many times what happens, we are in a hurry, we try to select a research problem, and then we actually, when we start working over that problem, we face a lot of problems. Sometimes our work gets stuck up. So that way the research will not be actually accelerated in a given time and in the given resources. So it is very essential for a researchers that you should select a topic, a research problem very carefully, considering all the aspects of that particular research issues. Or if there is any knowledge gap in the area that need to be investigated, the research problem identifies this particular gap also. Now, most of the researchers, it was observed that most of the researchers, they are having some problem while selecting a research problems, or something they feel something, it's a difficult task for them. So because this difficulty usually arises not because there is a limited range of researchable problems in sciences, but it is the inability to locate the socially relevant topics without duplicating earlier studies. So there are a lot of research problems are there. The only need is that we must build up our ability to recognize in what dimensions or in what environment we have to formulate the research problem. Now, what is the characteristics of a research problem? So any research is a difficult task to achieve, and researchers need to do a great effort for it also. So the selection of research topic is the first step to success. So research topic must be very clear and it is easy to understand, where it should not going to distract the people, those who are the readers or viewers of your research. They should not get distracted. So you have to select the topic in such a way that it clearly gives the information what work you have done in the research. And if a topic is well defined, is the only way to successful research. The topic should not create any kind of doubt or a double impression amongst the readers or any evaluators also. So easy language we can use while formulating a research problem, which is the key to success, and you can use some technical words if necessary, because these technical words gives you the realistic approach to your research problem. Otherwise, you can use also focus on the simplicity of a research problem. Research title should be according to the rules of titling. So there are so many rules of titling, how to formulate a research title. Okay. So what things need to be covered in the research title, or whenever we are trying to write down a research paper also, there are some guidelines been mentioned by many journals also, in what format or in what way you can have a research title, how many number of words you can enter in the research titles. So there are different rules for titling, and researcher must aware about writing a research title. You just refer those rules of titling, and you can refer while formulating and writing a research title. So while selecting a research topic, the current importance of research should also be considered. The topic should not be absolute. That is the requirement while selecting a research topic. That's why we call as a research title or research problem. It should be based on what is the current research going on in the environment, where you should not replicate the old research which already been addressed by many authors. And you should also relate this particular topic, how this topic is very important in the current days also. Now, what are the different criteria of selecting a research problems? So there are different criteria are there. Now that these criteria, we can define these criteria based on the how a researcher select the problems. So problem must be a significant in the sense that its solution should contribute to the body of organized knowledge in the field represented. The researcher should demonstrate that the selected topic is likely to add information to existing knowledge by making more reliable knowledge available. Furthermore, the problem should have either theoretical or practical implication of both. So we can consider this is one of the criteria where we can select a particular research problem. The problem should be researchable one, okay, because you should give a scope to your future researcher also. So there are many problems related to the questions that can only be subjected to philosophical rather than scientific investigations. The researchable problem must be concerned with the relationship between two or more variables that can be defined and measured, as well as it should get explained also. The problem should be one that will lead to new problem and to further research. This is the most important while selecting a particular research problems. So it is not like that when you are going to conduct a research, then that research gets stopped. So this research should invite the prospective researchers to further extend their study from other dimensions or from advanced point of view also. This criteria implies that so far as the researcher often relate their problem to existing knowledge in the field involved, attention should be given to the selection of a problem whose solution is likely to raise number of other questions for further research. So mostly these research problems are being invited that really motivates other problems to carry out further research in an advanced way. The problem must be suitable for the researcher in several respects. The problem should be one which can arouse the researcher's genuine interest. Without interest, the research cannot be completed, or it cannot possible to accomplish the objectives which we have listed down. The researcher must be personally important. Research must be personally important to the researchers, and it should enhance his competency in that particular field. Problem should be in an area about which one has both knowledge as well as experience. The researcher must have a clear understanding of the theoretical, conceptual, and practical aspects of the area of research. Similarly, the problem should be sufficiently original. Nowadays, those who are the evaluators, when they are evaluating the research, they usually been checked whether the problem is original or not, or whether it get copied from other researchers and like that. So we have to ensure that as a researcher, it should be sufficiently original. One need to possess personality attributes of creativity, flexibility, and foresight to be able to select a research problems that does not involve like blind and objectionable duplications. So a problem must be feasible. That means it should be workable. That means the problem should there should be some solution for the particular problem. If there is a problem, there must be solutions. So it should be feasible for research. The problem must be one that is investigated and completed within the allocated time limit. So many researchers, they are selecting the problems, but they are not taking into consideration how much time it requires to complete the research. So since we have a limited time where we want to present the research, so we have to take care about the time limit while selecting the particular problem. Subject which is overdone should not be normally chosen. The subject which is already been covered by many previous authors or previous researchers should not cover the same problem as a problem for the new research. Too narrow or too vague problems should be avoided. So problem should be a broader one, and it should not be vague problems. Vague problem is it will not going to clear what exactly you want to do in the research. So that is just like a vague, you have vague, say, foresee of the problems. So we have to avoid these too narrow problems or too vague problems. And many times, usually for a different level of research, like in the PG level or at the PhD level or at the postdoc level, you will observe the nature of problem that will going to vary. Say like at the ME level, we have a very narrow research like that. Whereas if you go at the PhD levels, we have a somewhat a broader level of research. That means, in suppose you are in the previous case, like at the PG level, you are considering two variables, whereas in the PhD level, we have to consider more than two variables in order to establish the solution for the problems. Or at the postdoc levels, you have to go for more advanced levels like that. So that will going to vary for the level of research, at what level you are actually doing the research. But in totality, we have to just check that these narrow problems as well as the vague problems should get avoided. The problem should be very, very specific. Okay. And because if there is a specific problem, then we got some good solutions for that particular problem. So in general, the importance of the subject, the qualification, and the training of researchers, that is mostly the skill that have by the researchers, how much cost involved in carrying out and completing the research, and how much time required, that is the time factor. These are the criteria that must be considered while selecting a particular problem. So if we can summarize this, then we can summarize in such a way that what is the characteristics of a very good research problem. So the problem should be significant. The problem will lead to further research. The problem is researchable. That means it can be investigated through the collection of data. The problem is suitable. That means it is interesting and suit the researcher's skills and available resources. The problem is ethical. It means it will not going to cause any harm to the subject or to the concern where you are actually applying this particular research. Either if you are applying to the society, you are applying to the industry. So it will not going to cause harm to that particular objects. Now just take a very simple flowchart of it. Whatever we discuss in today's discussion, we have a sort of flowchart here. So here at the upper side, we have this various sources we have through which we can get the information for the problem formulation. Then based on that sources, which we already been defined here, we have a tentative problem statement. We can prepare a tentative problem statement. We have to check it. Is the problem stated very clearly? And if your answer is yes, and if your answer is no, if your answer is no, then you require to restate the problem very clearly. And if your answer is yes, that you have very clearly stated the problem, then next decision is, will the solution contribute to knowledge? Again, the decision may be the yes or no. And if it is no again, then again you have to reconsider the problem. You have to state it very clearly. Again, check it whether it will going to contribute to the knowledge. And if this will going to contribute to the knowledge, then you have to go for the next step, that is the problem researchable? Okay. If the answer is no, then you have to again rethink it, how you have to make that problem researchable. And the answer is yes, then again you have to go for the next decision, that is the problem suitable for you? That means it will going to verify whether do you have a adequate skill and knowledge to carry out this research based on the problem you have formulated. If the answer is yes, then you have to check the ethical applicability of the problem. If it is no, again you have to rethink it, again make it suitable. Problem should be suitable for you. And if your answer is yes, then you have to check that is this ethically appropriate, whether it will not going to cause any harm to the particular subject or to the society or to the a particular object where you actually applying this research. So if your answer is yes, then you further go to is your study is quantitative study. If your answer is no, then the study will be a qualitative study. If your answer is yes, then if it is a quantitative study, then you have to establish the variables as well as the population. You have to identify these variables, which are the variables you consider, and how much population you are using for this particular study. And that way, that this process will be stopped here, and that way you can carry out this particular research. So this is a very simple flow chart, and whatever the discussion we have made in the earlier slides, based on that, we can have a one-step, say, deliberations here, and that way we can check every aspects of the research problem. Now, what is the evaluation of a research problem? So while preparing the research problem or while selecting a research problem, we must have a evaluation also, whether we have correctly stated the research problem or not. So you have to ask yourself certain questions, a series of questions rather, what we call, by undertaking the research. And these questions should be useful in the evaluation of the problem on various criteria. So all such questions must be answered affirmatively before study is undertaken. So what are those questions we should ask? First question is the problem researchable? Okay. Second question is the problem new? Whether the problem which you have selected or formulated carries certain newness, whether it is unique one, or whether it is something specific. Okay. Is the problem is significant? Another question is the problem feasible for a particular researchers? Okay, that means whether you can able to carry out this particular problem. That means, do you have enough skill and expertise as well as the knowledge to carry out a research under the domain of research problem? Even though we observe here that a research problem may be researchable, it may be new or significant, but it is yet not feasible because of certain considerations. Okay, and why it is not been feasible? Because of several reasons. That a researcher lacking research competencies, or researchers lacking interest and enthusiasm, or researcher facing certain financial considerations and feasibilities. What is the amount of financial requirements to carry out or to complete the research? If you are not receiving, just say for example, like the funding is part is concerned, then that particular work will not get completed. Or certain administration consideration and times. Okay, so whether the administration part is concerned, or how much time it required to complete. So because of all these parameters or considerations, that study will not look like a feasible study. So we have a series of questions in terms of the evaluation of the research problems, and if you find out the solutions for these questions, you can able to very prominently you can design your you can formulate your research problem. So these are the questions like, will the research result have social, educational, or scientific value? So many times nowadays, many funding agencies also, or organizations, or the universities, those who are actually providing the fund for the research, they basically asking this. This is a very common question they are asking. What is what are the results you are going to draw on? Are it really going to contribute in societal issues, educational side, as well as whether it has certain scientific values? Or will it possible to apply the result in practice? It's simply doing the research and we don't have any practicability of it, or we cannot able to convert into in the form of technology. Then the research problem is not a suitable problem. Will the research opt for new problems and lead to further research? Is there any enough research gap left within the area of research? So these all questions. If you are able to find out the solutions for this or answers for this, that will going to evaluate your research problem. Will it possible for another researcher to repeat the research? Are you motivated to undertake the research? Do you have necessary knowledge and skill to do the research? Do you have necessary funds for the research in order to conduct the research, complete the research in time? Do you have access to administrative, statistical, and computer facilities, the research which requires? Is the problem new? Is the solution to this problem helpful for the development of further knowledge? Is the problem feasible for a researcher? So these are all the series of questions and relevant questions that help you to evaluate your research problem. So necessity of this research problem we have, quite often we all hear that the problem clearly stated is a problem half solved. If you can clearly state a problem itself, you are going to solve that particular problems. So proper definition of the research problem will enable the researchers to be on the track, whereas as ill-defined problem may create hurdles also. Okay? So it is very essential for a researchers to define a problem properly, and that the half the work will be done if you define your problem very correctly. Otherwise, these problems may create certain hurdles while carrying out your research aspects. So thus defining a research problem properly is a prerequisite for any study and is a step to the highest importance. Now, what are the different techniques involved in a problem formulation? So we have techniques like statement of the problem in a general way. Then you have to understand the nature of the problem. Then you have to surveying the available literatures because that is the prior step while defining the research problem. You have to do a proper literature review and survey. Then developing ideas through discussion. You have to develop the ideas with the discussion with the colleagues, with the researchers or expertise in that area, and rephrasing the research problem into a workable propositions. So these problems we can further problem statement, we can have a certain aspect to the problem statements, that is a concise wording of the problem to be tackled. Your research problem statement is the foundation and focus of your research report. It is clear, this problem statement should be clear. Standalone statement that makes explicit what it is you are aiming to discover or establish. That means a good problem statement is specific. And many researchers, they have difficulty while formulating a concise problem statement. So the statement of the problem is sometimes written as a separate chapter or sometimes located at the very end of your literature review. Okay. So we have different versions of the problem statements. Either you can write down in a phrasing manner as a separate chapters, or you can have a simple statements also. Usually these statements you can observe at the end of the literature review. So this problem statement at a minimum, a problem statement should include, that is, what is the problem or defect? What is the magnitude of the problem? Where is the problem? And why it is important to work on this problem? That means what magnitude, where, why, or what intensity of the problem, where is the problem, and why this problem is important. If you can answer this, then your problem statement is a very concise and correct statement for your research. So based on that, we have certain examples of it. I have just put one or two examples here in terms of problem statement. So one of the example is about this pizza delivery times. So the statement is pizza delivers times at the west side location have been averaging 38 minutes on Friday and Saturday nights. So that means the average time of delivery of pizzas on Friday and Saturday night is 38 minutes. Because that time the demand for pizza is very high on Friday and Saturday night. As a result, 20% of the pizzas are being delivered late. That means these 20% pizzas, they are delivering more than 30 minutes. So delivering pizza is less than 30 minutes is crucial to increase revenue and customer satisfaction. So I have just highlighted, underlined a few of the statements here. Whatever the deliberations we have made in the earlier slide, that means in terms of what is the problem or defect, magnitude of the problem, where is the problem, and why it is important to work on these problems. So on the same platform, we have developed a statement, problem statement for pizza delivery times. Okay, so these pizza delivery times at a particular locations. So at particular location means where is the problem? Okay, have been averaging 38 minutes on Friday and Saturday nights. As a result, 20% pizzas are been delivering late. This is the problem. Okay, so what is the problem? That is all defect. And delivering pizza is less than 30 minutes is crucial to increase revenue and customer satisfaction. That is nothing but why it is so important. So if you can write down your problem statement in that fashion, it will be a more clear and concise problem statement for your research. Another example you just take here. So that is the second ship assembly line is producing defect at a rate of 4.5% of production. That means it is based on number of returns the company receiving from customer side. And here the statement is reducing defect is critical to improving customer satisfaction. So if you can break down into these four aspects, that is what, magnitude, where, and why. So we can break down these statement into these four like way. Problem statement 2 can be formatted as a bulleted list, just what we have mentioned in these four aspects. What is the problem? That is high defect rates. Magnitude of the problem is the 4.5% of the production. Where is the problem? That is in assembly line number 1. Why it is so important? That means because it will going to reduce the defects. Reducing defect is critical to improve the customer satisfaction. So this way we can actually break down in a particular format, and then we can make it a very concise way, which will going to cover all these aspects of the problem formulation. Another statement here, another example of this problem formulation in a particular chapter, just like a chapter, many times, many literature, many PhD thesis, what we observe, which is in the form of a separate chapter for problem formulation. So here is one example here that which is in the form of a long statement that representing the problem for the research. Say for example here, even though plastic is useful and versatile material with wide range of applications, the disposal of plastic waste is problematic since they are durable and persist in the environment. That is the background of the study. The monitoring of plastic waste and research into its impact are still in the fancy. This is the current situation of the research going on. But so far as the implications are worrying, besides, the problem of plastic in developing countries is tripled since there is no proper waste management to effectively either recycle or recover energy from plastic waste. So this is a statement, and based on that, the final statement that representing what problem has been formulated, thus recovery of energy from plastic waste by producing liquid fuel will be a great benefit by solving the energy problem in developing, reducing their environmental impact, and generating incomes. So thus, in this work, a novel waste to liquid fuel technology is designed, manufactured, and tested, and to be ready for society. The technology is intended to be a low-cost machine and serve the whole population of the country. So this is the statement, problem statement. Even though this problem statement look like a very long statement, but it will cover all the aspects in what basis this problem has been formulated. It will cover the background study of the problems. It will cover what problems are been facing. It covers what is the current research or what is the current trends in the problems. Okay, how this problem will going to benefit to the particular subject or to the particular say aspect like society or industry like that, and what exactly work you are going to do in order to get this particular in order to carry out your research. So finally, if you can just take this methodology, how this research methodology that are helping for solving the research problem. So as a step one, we have a clarity of research focus. Okay. So what work you exactly want to do for research? So that clarity must be needed. That is one of the first step when we actually starting our research. Okay. Step two is the literature review. We will just check whatever we have think that I want to do this particular work. I want to check through literatures whether that work is already been conducted, whether or in what dimensions the work is been already performed by the earlier researchers, like that. That is through literature survey. Or which are the problems the earlier researchers faced in the problem in the literature review. Okay, which are the problems are not been addressed by the earlier researchers. So all this information that you obtained through literature review, then based on that you have a research design for it. Okay, then based on the research design you have a data collection. Okay, that means a researchable work we have, and these are been related to your research problems. So whether all this data collection wherever we have done it, are it really correlating my research problems, what are the research problem I have formulated. In step 5 you have analysis of the data. You are analyzing the data, whatever the data you have collected, you further analyze the data, then you write down your analysis and physical interpretation for that result what you obtained. And lastly, the step 6 is the implementation of the research findings. So whatever the findings you have a implementation, how it has been physically implemented for it. So in all respect, in each step, your central focus is your research problem. Okay, so your research problem should guide to each and every step. Okay, so whatever the steps we have mentioned here, we have shown in the slide. So it should guide it, and all the things should be included in the particular research problems. So this is all about my deliberations over this topic, that is formulating a research problem. So if you have any queries related to that, then you are welcome for. If you have any questions, you are welcome.
I request to all the participants, please, if you have any query, you can start your mic and ask, or you may put your query in the chat box as well. I request all the participants.
I'm inviting the queries from those who are actually carrying out their PhD work.
Yes,
because already those who already done it,
yes,
they are not much more interested in that.
Correct.
So those who are actually carrying out their PhD work, and if they are facing any problem, which problems, how I can formulate a problem.
If you have any query, please unmute yourself and you can ask a query, or you may put your query in the chat box as well. Yes, sir, I think there is no query at all.
Okay.
We'll move towards the vote of thanks. It's my honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the second day of Faculty Development Program organized by Research and Development Cell, PR, Kotepatil College of Engineering and Management, Amravati, Maharashtra. First and foremost, straight away, I would like to thank to our Honorable Chairman, Sir, for his continuous effort and support towards organizing such a wonderful webinar through online pedagogy tool. I would like to thank our Vice Chairman, Honorable Shri Shreyas Kumar Kotepatil Sir, for his valuable guidance. I would like to thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. D.T. Ingole Sir, for their respective support and motivation towards organizing and implementing such a wonderful session in an online fashion. I would like to thank our Vice Principal, Dr. Mohammad Zuhair Sir, for his continuous effort and support. I would like to thank all the head of department, various deans of different disciplines, all the faculty members and dear participants. Last but not the least, I extend my gratitude and thank to Dr. S.B. Workut Sir. He has accepted our invitation on the very short period of time and gave his absolute valuable findings towards the research and development via problem statement. Sir has explained dramatically towards from definition towards the approaches, characteristics of problem statement, different criterias of problem statement, then fund mobilization, innovative ideas that may lead to the problem statement, and problem statement is a journey of the innovative idea. Sir, we would be very thankful to you for providing your valuable time and efforts towards the success of this faculty development program. I request to all the participants, please mark your attendance and give your valuable feedback towards this faculty development program. With the permission of chair, I declare that today's session is over. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.